What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Hardcorn, and today we're going to be taking a look at Lan Xiang. We're going to be going over her and see if she's going to be worth your gems or not. Before we get started, make sure to like, comment, rate, favorite, and subscribe for more content in the first place. Now let's get into it. To start us off, Lan herself is an assist human type. So this is what her stats are going to look like at 81. I'll have little pictures up here so you can take a look at with a comparison over time to see what she looks like from 1 to 81. I don't have her at 87 since I don't usually go there unless I really like the character. Her stats are generally middle of the pack and serviceable for the most part. She doesn't really excel in one way or the other, and I think this may be a foreboding thing for the rest of her as a character. Moving on to weapons, Lan does not share any gear. She introduces the long staff and puts her moves to the test as our Oriental Obliterator. Her gotcha signature lets her give and receive less damage from bosses while also having a weapon skill that removes buffs. This is actually a really nice thing in the first place because it's a low-cost way to just activate it, and she'll remove problems in the first place on tough enemies, like Floor 102, Kanaloa, or even stuff in the arena itself. Of course, she has her standard issue Momochi weapons and arena gear. Her SR gear has her dealing more damage to demon racials, and her other one is being increased to normal attack. Her character package weapon will also increase clone damage alongside her leader skill passive. This comes with a fixed 30% chance to activate a clone on skill usage. And there's more. She can also deal more damage with her basic string. Finally, on each instance of clone activation, she gives a team buff. Lan's passive skill allows for a forced clone on every 5th skill you cast, and this weapon gives a % chance for a clone to appear. So you can triple cast skills. It's a bit rare, but it does happen. So we'll go over her costumes for this. She's got her default one, the Desire Shop June Bride outfit, her rival outfit with Sue, biker gal, gift for you, training outfit, and the bathrobe. Next, we'll get a load of her affinities. She has character EXP and several forms of drop rate. So at level 5, it's a 10% EXP. Level 10, it's 10% drop rate. Level 15, 10% drop rate again. And at level 20, it's 30% drop rate. Next, we'll go take a look at her skills. But first, we're going to start off with her leader skill. This is Sand Clone. So every time a skill is used, you gain 1 stack of sand. Every 5th skill, a Sand Clone is summoned. It uses skills together with you on cast and deals damage equal to 50% of your own damage. So this means the first 4 skills are irrelevant. They don't get any boosts at all from the sand stacks you're getting. They're just there to meet the condition. On the casting of the 5th skill is when you're going to get the clone. Consider your skill cascades and timing so you don't whiff something or miss out on some big damage conditionals. But now on to the good stuff. Let's go see what she's got under the hood. Let's go over some skills. So to start off, we're going to have Chinese Union Arts. It's going to be staff techniques. This is a standard speed time in an art with increases the coverage of her basic string. It's more obvious visual cues for hitting your timings with storm formation. Nothing too crazy to say the least. I just wish that if you equip this and finish a combo string with it equipped, you get a sand stack, because it doesn't do that normally. So now we're on to storm formation. This is one of the coolest skills in the entire game we've gotten so far. Finally, after so long, we get various finishers for where you're at in the basic string. Storm formation can slot itself anywhere in a build. Lan's basic attack string takes 4 button presses to reach the end with or without her time in an art. Using storm formation off the first 2 presses are the same attack, pole thrust. The 3rd press has her throw the staff forward as a slow persisting projectile, and 4th is a big home run hit. Not to mention, this is her only healing. 5% damage dealt lifesteal is really good. Getting it off in a critical situation is a hope and a prayer, because it's very reliant at least on you getting 1 attack off and not getting interrupted during when she casts the storm formation in the first place. The ideas here are phenomenal. I want more characters with this aspect built into them personally for their Taimanin arts, because this sort of skill feels like a really good addition to like the Taimanin art system in the first place. They're almost always the same for every character, so put something like this together with like a future releases, that would be great. So we move on to Sand Art, Golden Crusher Staff. It's her green signature skill. She astrally projects a super staff, so you can use this skill at a pretty sizable range. You hit it with a nice size AoE, and with set effects, this skill gets to have a second AoE burst. This skill also moves her forward. For better or worse, this is a positioning tool. Also, with set effects, you can get this skill to be armored, which is very, very welcome. It's very spammable too due to the cooldown reduction, and is a good source of damage, though somewhat lacking. Over here with Sand Art, Descending Dragon Strike is her red signature skill. It's very straightforward. She activates it, and depending on the set effects, you'll produce 1 to 3 hits. This attack has 2 parts. First part being the initial staff crash, which is melee damage, and the second part is 2 astral staffs that come down and deal 25 to 30% of the attack's damage as ranged. That's it. Chinese Union Arts, Be Like Cloud, Be Like Water is her blue signature skill. This is another unique skill introduced with her. You simply hold the dodge button to activate the skill, but instead of finishing off after one occurrence, you keep holding it to have it continue. It'll go as long as you keep holding it. It's got everything you could want in the set. Super armor to never be interrupted, big time defense shred, and a critical damage modifier. It's the perfect all or nothing attack. If she's geared up enough, she can contend with immense threats and deal substantial damage, defeating them in seconds. Cooldown starts for this skill not on activation like all others, it starts on resolution. You could hold this skill down for 2 minutes and it will only start when you let off the skill. The AI cannot take advantage of this feature. It will only occur one time, which is the initial press. Over here, Sand Art Binding Barrage. This is a utility tool. Mugen Hoei from Rinko returns, but this time it's the sand version, but better functionality. Lan casts projectiles at the enemy to bind them. These binds last a long time, and are great for holding back big threats that the Antlion Pit can't take care of. Though somewhat low damage and lengthy animation is made up for the defense shred in green alongside crowd control. Now we're on to Chinese Union Arts Tempest Formation. It's her moment-to-moment spam skill. Dodge and slash into a crowd, she whacks an arc in front of her to give her a buff or debuff on an enemy, depending on what you got set in the main. You take this skill and a few others because of its utility, and also how low the cooldown is so you can quickly accumulate sand stacks over time. Now it's Sand Art Sandblast. This is her counterattack. I'm somewhat impressed by this skill since it's actually worthwhile. When you eat a hit, you can activate it and it taunts enemies with a clone cast on location. Then you go into Heavy Coast Stealth to escape. It's really nifty. After 3 seconds, the decoy explodes. Lan gets hit a lot due to her being melee with elaborate animations, so she can use this as a nice repositioning tool. You can activate Extreme Dodge during this, so it's a fun tool to use to get Antlion Pit out. But in skill choice, it's always the choice in regards for utility or just more damage, so most people will end up favoring more damage in the first place, so it loses out, even in a 4-skill setup. Now with Quicksand Antlion Pit, this is her Extreme Dodge skill. This is not a very good suction skill. However, it is a very good skill for holding bosses down and reducing their defense. The suction effect is only inside the circle, not global. The skill does not deal damage. It may sound like an innocuous concept, but that means small fodder enemies caught inside the Antlion Pit can still attack you, albeit slower. Believe me, I know, since the laser cannon robots with that huge stun can still attack you when they're inside that. It just really needs some form of like damage, like it can deal like 100 damage or something. All it needs to do is just deal hit stun. Finally, after all this time, we reach Chinese Union Arts Suodi. For the first time in forever, I actually want to use a double dash attack. This one is really nice. It's an extremely spammable gap closer that can also buff if you've got the right color in it. Even if I hit 5 stacks of sand, this skill deals solid damage, so it's not too much of a loss in the first place if it gets double casted. Well, that was nice. Let's give her a once-over and see if she's worth it. Lan is our second character from the Chinese Union, and from a look standpoint, they certainly made her turn heads with her style and grace. She has the sort of flashy attacks and abilities I'd expect from a character out of a wuxia, but does not match the strengths. Lan is another case of an experimental character. They are introducing new concepts with her, but these are still rocky at best. Give it time and a later character will have similar abilities and will be much more efficient and powerful with them. The double casting concept is very cool. Personally, I would have liked it to activate every third skill and instead of every fifth, but I guess that's something that the character package weapon could take care of. Personally, I'm just happy we have clones that scale from player damage now and aren't inherently terrible. Lan is in a strange place. She's not a total bottom tier, but she certainly is not reaching the mandate of heaven. Like, she is on the cusp of something really fun and nice to use, but her damage is middling, and in regular Joe setups, those clones don't really feel like they make an impact. Storm Formation desperately needs armor on activation. Lan's basic string reminds me of Rin's, or Shiranui's, where you're almost never going to complete it since it takes so long to do, but it also comes with immense coverage. I just want it so that the healing can actually get off if she's solo or something. There's good ideas on the attempt with the skill. Antlion Pit really just needs to do damage so it can provide some sort of hit stun. Antlion Pit gets the whole drawn to the center and no escape part right, but the actual antlion insect itself has something at the center that attacks prey. It's so simple, it almost feels like it was just an oversight or something. It just needs like a 100 damage tick that can hit stun armor broken enemies. But even after all this, the question still remains, is she gonna be worth your gems? And honestly, not right now at least. There are characters worse than her, and ones that are certainly better to say the least. Lan sits in that gray mediocrity zone that plays both sides. If she gets a limited pack that changes her for the better, then that'll be the day. If she doesn't, well, she's gonna look just fine in your lobby with the team moms, so you can get super drops with high affinity with her. But that's it. Thank you for coming by, everyone. Don't forget to like, comment, rate, favorite, and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.